Alright, so boom. The vast majority of us spend our entire life just trying to make it. And on a monetary scale, maybe about 5% of us ever, and that's being incredibly generous, will be able to say, well, we've made it. And if you really take into account, vast majority of us have sacrificed our adolescence into our early adulthood simply going to school. Some individuals would go into white collar, job positions. Other individuals who would rather go into blue collar job situations. Some people would like to be entrepreneurs, but you can't do that without funding, right? So you'll probably go work an odd job so that your 9 to 5 can now go and fund your 5 to 9. Some people would like to go into the arts. Some people like to go into sports, others into entertainment. Now with the advent of social media, individuals like me trying to make it happen online, right? So there's no guarantee that you'll be able to come out on top and win. However, I must say it can be incredibly discouraging when you find out there's OnlyFans harlots who made $43 million in a year.
I beg your pardon?
Tell me I did not just see that.
Damn you! No! It's not true!
You see, that's the first thing I thought. There ain't no way in hell this is real, because where the hell did this harlot even come from? Now, do you recognize how much media and marketing that you need in order to go and generate $43 million on OnlyFans? I know what a couple of you guys are thinking. Well, that's just the gross number, Adonis. How much did she take back net? Who gives a fuck how much she took back net? You made $43 million gross. That's still an amazing amount of money. Let's just say OnlyFans takes an absurd 50%. Let's take an additional 20-some% for managers. Let's just say there's 10 additional percent that's over there for marketing, advertising, whatever the case may be. She's still leaving with 20%. What the fuck's 20% of $43 million?
Like a whole lot of money.
That's approximately $8.7 million. And you know what makes matters even worse? You would assume somebody who's a veteran harlot would be able to pull these kinds of numbers because you've got sweat in the game, the sweat equity, if you will. You've built up a fan base to where these people will flock to go to wherever you may be posting content. Oh no, this is Shorty's first year on OnlyFans. She just turned 20 on the unchiseled Adonis' birthday on September 22nd.
I beg your pardon?
So let me get this straight. You can't purchase a drink at a bar. You can't purchase a bottle of alcohol at the liquor store. But you can be a prostitute on OnlyFans and it's all motherfucking fun and games. What is going on? What are we doing?
I don't know!
What kind of 360 deals you think they're giving out at OnlyFans to where you can get this kind of funding and revenue in your very first year? But I think this is nothing more than a genjutsu that they're catching the populace with. Why that is, you might ask. Well, for one, if I'm not mistaken, 43 million in one fiscal year. Would that not put her in the top 3 earners of all time in a single year on OnlyFans in history? And you're able to pull that off in your very first year when you were unknown prior to that? Furthermore, remember last year when I made that video on Ruby Rose where it was pretty much exposed that her top spender, who had been some form of crypto multi-million billionaire guy, was sending upwards of, I believe, $1 million in tips and donations, if you will.
So I got hit up by an agency and they needed someone to take a photo or a few photos.
How do they hit you up? Who are you? Like, why are they hitting you up?
It was through a friend of a friend, I'm guessing, and the friend basically reached out because, I don't know, maybe just the way that I look, maybe my character, I don't know.
Do they feel like that you might look like a guy who would spend 63 grand on pussy that you won't fuck?
I mean, they maybe thought that, you know?
Do you think they were trying to make you look a little simpy?
The fuck you mean?
Yeah,
yes, you do.
Right?
He ended up going and pretty much saying, well, it was her team that had contacted him all for the form of marketing and advertising, right? This is no different than that. There's no doubt in my mind, this is an inflated number. I will indeed, concede that she made over $1 million, dare I say, multiple millions, but 43, I beg to differ.
That bitch lying.
Like, think about it. Why would one make $43 million in a year and then broadcast that to the populace? Makes absolutely no sense. Anybody who understands the world we live in today, the last thing you'd want to do is make yourself a target.
What's poppin', homie? Fuck this nigga right here.
Furthermore, posting all these screenshots about, well, I've made $4 million in this month. I've made $3 million in this month. I've made $3.5 million this month. Not to say it's not attainable, because I truly believe that it is. I've met individuals who've made multi-million dollars in a month. Now, granted, they're in legitimate business. I think some possibly may have been flexing and finagling form of illegal business, but that's neither here nor there. In her case, why would you continually do something like this? You can probably draw out the pay pigs who get a kink, or I should say this happens to be their kink, and they get off on sending money to a bunch of different ladies in an effort to satisfy their urges, right? But I don't think there's enough pay pigs that are out there that are tipping you $4 million and then double back after an expose. You mean to tell me man saw the tweet about you talking about your top spender, happened to get turned on by that, and then went on to tip an additional $6 to $8 grand, and all he received out of all of this donation was a thank you so much, Charlie? Ma'am, are you serious? It's apropos that you're a mattress actress, because you're no different than the mattress firm. We ain't never seen no motherfucking customers up in there, son bitch, but they got hundreds of stores around the country. If this ain't money laundering, I don't know what is.
No one will ever know!
OnlyFans has quickly become the new get-rich-quick scheme, because this is starting to get ridiculous. Outside of like meme coins, pump and dump, whatever the case just so happens to be, everybody seems to be making it seem as if they're making a shit ton of bread on OnlyFans. Sophie Rain did go out and put out a post talking about, well, my life isn't all sunshine and rainbows. I don't want girls to think that everything's gonna be this easy. Ma'am, you made $43 million in a year. If there was somebody on the fence of wanting to go and make content, they busting it wide open right now. And to make matters worse, it started a discourse between prostitutes of numerous different motherfucking races, ethnicities, sexualities, and creeds, talking about, well, you guys are privileged because you're able to make this money. But then of this demographic, you can't. You're prostitutes. Don't nobody give a fuck what your opinion is.
Everybody's got a goddamn opinion.
What the fuck are we doing out here? Prostitutes going back and forth on Twitter about who deserves the right to go and get this bread. Another OnlyFans harlot boasting that you done made 43 mil in a year. Everybody knows this is just another form of advertisement and marketing to go and drive and galvanize more people over to the platform to go and see what all the fuss is about. Furthermore, you could just Google and find leaks. Porn is free. You shouldn't even be consuming this shit anyway. I've said in the past before, if you happen to take a fancy to one particular harlot and you were just interested in seeing what the fuss is about, if you go and you make a one-time payment, you get your fix, although you shouldn't even support this kind of debauchery and tomfoolery, whatever the case, degeneracy, whatever the case just so happens to be. If you need so desperately to see this, you go, you make your one-time payment, then you exit. The individuals who got payments on a recurring basis, month by month, you're sick. And you can't convince me that there's individuals who are like, well, I only subscribe to one person on OnlyFans. No, you got multiple different subscriptions. If we pulled up your bank statements, we pulled up your motherfucking credit card statements, you would see a great percentage of your income being sent out to these motherfucking harlots because you can't stop yourself from being a motherfucking gooner. Something's wrong with y'all, fam. Seriously, something's wrong with you. There's no reason why every single year we have to continually revisit this exact same conversation. There's only so many times you can point the finger at the doggone harlots. Because call it what it is. As long as there's going to be a demand, there will always be an endless supply. Until there's no demand, the supply will never cease. So at the end of the day, if it ain't her, it's gonna be another harlot who gonna pop up and then receive that particular kind of fund because y'all motherfucking simps continue to finance this bullshit. And there's no doubt in my mind there's somebody who watching right now. So, well, I'm curious what all the fuss is about. Let me go over to OnlyFans and go and make my monthly subscription over to see what Sophie Rain got going. You're sick! You're sick! And y'all need to be dealt with. Enough of this shit. You could be giving this money to an actual good cause. Shit, you could be giving this money back to yourself and invest back in yourself and get yourself where you actually want to be. Because I'm telling you something right now. They ain't no motherfuckers who on this goddamn payroll on the OnlyFans who doing so well in life to where they enjoying every single moment of their existence. Now, granted, those pay pigs who happen to be over there at the top, who this just nothing more than a kink for them, humiliation fetish, whatever it is. They probably loaded enough to where, all right, this don't really make too much of a dent in their pocket. But I can promise you this much. There's something that is left unfulfilled in their doggone life to where they got to resort to this kind of behavior. Because let me tell you something right now. If you doing shit that you know you ain't proud of, and furthermore, you would not share publicly, not only amongst the populace, but amongst your intimate circle, that this is what you into, then you know what the fuck you doing is wrong. Something wrong with y'all motherfuckers, and y'all need to be dealt with, and there's only one individual who gonna put y'all motherfuckers out of your misery. Chris!
You're gonna have to die.
Here comes the United States champion, Chris Benoit.
He's not gonna do what I think, is he? Oh no, come on. 16-foot. Wow. Arms are clasped. Look at already. I can't believe it. Off the ground, is he? Whoa, again! Yes, he is! Oh, Benoit, look at Benoit!
Justice!
Now, I'm not saying he should have killed her, but I understand.